if you feel like you are a bit lost with supplements when you come to your mental health, then this is for you. This quick little podcast or vlog that we are doing now is to discuss the best supplements for mental health. So it's clear that with our lifestyle nowadays, it's always a bit more challenging to support our nutrition, especially if you are under a lot of stress and if you train at the gym, if you live quite a big and busy lifestyle. Supplementation is quite essential because unfortunately the nutrients in food not always are enough. So what we're going to approach is my favorite and what are deemed to be the most effective supplements for mental health. So the first one that's kind of important to utilize and really supplement if you want to look after your mental health is magnesium. Magnesium is an essential mineral, so if you want to understand how calcium and magnesium work together, is when you are contracting your muscle, there is a communication in your nervous system that requires calcium, and when you want to relax the muscle, there is communication in your nervous system and in your cells for that requires magnesium. So the balance between calcium and magnesium is quite important. However, because we tend to be already quite in a stress state, most of us are quite tense a lot of the time. So you can be lacking calcium in your diet as well, but magnesium in terms of relaxation is quite important. There are a lot of research that show that magnesium deficiency is linked to anxiety disorder, it's linked to higher stress, and it's just really increasing your state of relaxation, just helping in general. So you can obviously find it in diet, so things like leafy greens. There is a lot of magnesium rich foods. However, what I do recommend that I myself use is either a balance of calcium magnesium where you have a ratio of 1 to 2, so the balance of calcium and a little bit more magnesium to kind of balance. Also, you can find a blend of calcium because there are different types of calcium. There's glycinate, taurate, malate, and the glycinate and taurate are the ones that are proven to be the most efficient in terms of mental health, so the mental well-being. However, finding a mix of magnesium in your supplementation can help because the other kind of magnesium also help again with the muscle relaxation. So there is the magnesium that focus on the brain health, and there is magnesium that focus on the muscle health. But both of them are very much linked to your nervous system, and they are very essential for you to help. If you take a bath with magnesium salt, obviously that will help, but that mostly help with your state of relaxation in your nervous system. Supplementing magnesium in general is quite necessary on a daily basis to help with the brain functions. So make sure that when you start with supplements that you stick to it for at least 12 weeks, because this the fact that they're natural supplementation, your body will have to use it where it's prioritized, and it can take a while for you to start really feeling the effects. You might also want to try different brands. I will be listing in the show notes my favorite brands, but different brands can have different effects, and not everyone has the same budget, but it's finding the one that works for you and where you feel the real benefits. The second supplement that is quite important for brain health is omega-3 fatty acids, so EPA and DHA. And then that again has been proven to help with depression and anxiety. So it will help with improving the symptoms. They still have not figured out quite well why omega-3 and essential fatty acid are helping with symptoms of anxiety and depression. But fatty acid in the brain, your brain needs a lot of fat to function adequately. If you know already that the keto diet, for example, was actually catered for people with epilepsy, because fat is it's a bit like a conductor of your nervous system, so a bit like an electrical cable, and you've got the plastic around it, and the fat is what creates what's called the myelin sheath. So it really kind of helps galvanize your nervous system. And even though that's what I know from biology and science, they still are trying to figure out why omega-3 essential and essential fatty acid really help with anxiety and depression. So in terms of this, obviously there are vegan and vegetarian options which come from algae. The only thing with vegan and vegetarian, if you are not vegan and vegetarian, your body will not process the vegan and vegetarian options. That means that your digestive system is so used to be absorbing the fat from the animals, so using it from the salmon, but also from actual food like fish, nuts, plant food. But obviously seeds and coconut oil, olive oil, all of these are quite important. But we do tend, non-vegetarian and non-vegan, we do tend to process better fish oil. Now, supplementing this, I personally supplement it, can be quite pricey. I'm going to be very honest with you here. If you want a very good fish oil, it's very hard because it needs to be processed at a certain temperature to preserve the quality of the product. It's a very complicated process, and it can be very pricey if you want a quality supplement. So the choice is up to you, obviously, in that term. Just don't invest in the cheap version. I would suggest to not invest in a cheaper option because it's very unlikely to be of good quality to help supplement your brain health. So in that aspect, I would say either do not buy the supplement or know that you want to invest into a higher quality supplement. If you have any questions about that, I do really recommend that you go to shops such as Whole Foods Market, Planet Organic. They have on-site trained nutritionists, so actual nutrition therapists who understand those concepts. They are absolutely well versed, and they can help you choose the right option for you. Other downsides of taking fish oil as well that I would like to make sure you understand is that it can be quite difficult to digest. So if you choose a supplementation of fish oil, make sure that they are complemented with some essential oil that will kind of cover the fish oil taste, because sometimes you literally take the fish oil and you would be burping the fish oil. This is like a bit TMI, but it's necessary to know. Let's just know the reality behind it. But you will find it difficult to digest a little bit when you have like a lot of fatty food and you tend to burp, and your stomach acid kind of like make you burp the oil quite a bit. So I've got one that has orange oil, for example, orange essential oil, and I can really clearly see that my body is struggling sometimes to process the fish oil because I'm burping, and I can feel like it's the orange essential oil, but it's still better than, burping cod liver oil, for example. So really be aware of that as well. Last one that is very, very important for your brain health is probiotics. So if you have been looking around or reading, if you are interested in mental health, you have been reading a lot about the gut and brain connection. The brain-gut axis is very, very important. And if your digestive system is not primed, you will very likely have issues with your mental health as well. I will also recommend you, if you really struggle with mental health, to keep a journal of what you eat, because that can be very defining of how you are feeling mentally. So a poor diet can really, really exacerbate your symptoms of anxiety and depression. So probiotics are live microorganisms. If you don't know, they're like the friendly bacteria. We all have friendly bacteria. We have them in our digestive system. Women also have them in their reproductive system, in their the flora. So we call this the microbiome, and the microbiome helps create an anti-inflammatory effect on the brain. So there is the research that says that when you limit inflammation with a good and healthy microbiome, you help with limiting infection-related conditions like IBS, IBD, and obviously people with IBS and IBD, they're very linked again to our nervous system, inflammatory state, and it's very important to lower inflammation when we struggle with mental health. Anxiety and depression are very heightened when our body entered into inflammatory state. And also if you tend to be struggling with chronic disease and have mental health problems, issues, so if you have a mental health condition, everything will kind of feed with each other. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. You're aware that everything really feeds into each other when it comes to mental health, chronic disease, and inflammatory state. So what I find probiotics help me with is, I've got IBS myself. I tend to take probiotics to help with my IBS condition. The thing that I would say is every time you take a new probiotic, there is a time for adjustment. And that time for adjustment can be extremely uncomfortable. And to some people say, it lasts only a few days. For me, it has lasted more than a few days. It has lasted up to like a week or two. So finding the right probiotics is also a journey. Finding a probiotic that works for you is a journey. You should be feeling the benefits within about 3 to 4 weeks. So you should feel an improvement in your digestion, an improvement in your the chronic condition. I would say it would take more, about 2 to 3 months to start feeling the benefits and the lowered inflammation levels, combined with obviously the diet and maybe taking some CBD product to help with lowering inflammation in your body. So yes, that can be a real disadvantage. What you want to really try having in is a Lactobacillus acidophilus and the Bifidobacterium lactis. Those are the two main ones that are very much related to lowering your inflammation levels. So this is very useful. I also personally use glutamine powder to help repair the gut lining. That's also another discussion for digestive health. But combining a really strong supplementation system to help your digestion can help absorb the nutrients better. It will help your diet. If you have a healthy diet, your nutrients will get absorbed better. Your body will process the nutrients a lot better, and it will just overall really help with your mental state. From a personal experience, I can really tell you that if I have a poor diet, if I don't supplement my lifestyle, considering that I'm a coach, that I train quite a lot, I live a fairly active lifestyle, having anxiety and struggling with, panic attacks and IBS, I really have to manage my digestion. I can really feel the difference when I'm not looking after my diet well enough and my supplementation. I can really feel the difference. So I hope that this was very helpful for you. And please do comment, please do share. The show notes and the blog will be listed. So in the show notes, you'll find the link to the blog with all the research paper that back what I'm talking about. So some links to some of my favorite products, and obviously a link also to comment, to chat. Make sure that you share this post, this vlog, this podcast with someone that you feel need to hear this, because that can really be helpful to someone who doesn't know how to help when they are struggling or really coming to terms with their mental health and understanding how to really improve it. So I hope you have a wonderful time, and thank you so much for taking the time for listening and or watching. Bye.